Sometimes I wonder if we really do exist or if we're someone's dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or if we're already
Second
dead and
one.
we've gone to hell. And that's why the world is what it is.
Certainly purgatory, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some kind of later season of Lost.
Mm-hmm. Where's the smoke monster? Oh, it's my fart.
Where's my smoke monster? In the end, the smoke monster was Ben's fart.
You know what? Technically, yes. Yes, the smoke monster was kind of Ben Linus's. I know what you're saying with Ben. But yeah, Ben Linus's part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
Everything makes sense.
Oh,
Everything
God.
is connected. Everything is a coconut.
Everything is BRAT.
Everything is BRAT. Why don't you lead this one, Ben?
Okay.
I could lead this one.
Do you want to?
No.
That would actually be really funny.
Actually, I could just okay. I could work my bit into this. I'll lead.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do it. Talk to the brats.
All right. And we can always redo it again, or, you know.
It could always become like a cold open before the
Oh yeah, I love a cold open.
Yeah.
There's always a cold open. Mainly because for YouTube, I didn't know what to do with the opening. Like, is it going to be a black screen where we play music? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So goofy cold opens.
And the name of the show is Ben and Robin Are Trans, correct?
Mm-hmm.
AKA the Brat Pod.
The Brat
That's
Pod.
why we call everybody brats.
Oh, I get the Brat thing now.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get the acronym.
That's why we're always like, what up, brats?
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's fun to call people brats.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we beat Charlie XCX to it.
Technically.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
All right. Am I okay levels-wise?
You are amazing levels-wise.
And amazing in general.
We've never seen a better level.
Fancy.
Aww.
Hey, brats. My name is Benjamin Robbins, and I am trans. I have taken over the podcast now because I have both the names, which gives me superior control according to international podcast law. And we're shifting hard into crypto today. Please buy my horribly drawn pictures of monkeys. I will send you a number of authenticity through the mail. It will be written on a napkin. And who knows? It could be your favorite number. It could be 8. It could be 62. It could be 7. It could be 8. Anyways, these are 2 other people that are here.
Well, you're Faye, so I don't have a name anymore.
That's fair.
You could have the same names. I just have the superior ones.
My name is Loch Ness Monster, and I believe in myself when no one else does.
Aww. I didn't read that before. That's adorable.
I wore it because with what we see in trans media, sometimes you gotta believe in yourself when no one else does. Like, it gave me the vibe of trans representation in media. Spoiler alert, that's what we're talking about today.
It's nice.
I also run a TV studio as the great Benjamin Robbins.
Anyway, hey brats. My name is Robin and I'm trans.
My name is Ben and I'm trans.
We got Dan back in the studio
Yay,
today.
it was all a ruse.
Yeah.
This is fiction. This trans representation in this media.
Yeah, we had to fight. We had to like wrest control of the podcast back.
Benjamin Robbins guy, he's weird. He looks like a potato.
Yeah. I'm the captain now.
And you are listening
Media.
to
Hey brats, I'm the captain now.
This is Ben and Robin Are Trans.
Yeah.
With Dan.
With Dan.
And Benjamin Robbins.
And Benjamin Robbins. Not to be confused with Benjamin Button.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or Christopher Robbins, who hangs out with bears.
Yes. I was going to say, oh man, what's the actor's name? Something Robbins.
Oh,
Tim
Robbins.
Tim Robbins.
Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah, exactly.
The one and only.
Or how they weirdly named the character, the Robin character in Dark Knight Rises, Robin, instead of Dick Grayson.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's a dick move.
It's a very dick move.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are silly.
So silly.
I think we're very serious people here for very
incredibly.
very serious topics, Ben. So you should get on board to our intellectualism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not smart.
Oh no, now I feel bad. Do you want one of my NFTs?
Yes.
They're like really bad.
Oh, are they monkey themed?
I could write a number on a napkin for you. It could be either 3 or 6.
So, Dan.
Yes?
Do you have a moment of joy for us?
Oh, yeah, I was doing that, wasn't I?
You're going to do a moment of joy.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
You don't have to.
I had a
if
weird
you're a
one.
joyless person.
I mean,
hey.
It's sort of like piggyback and rip off on what you said last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's, we've known each other forever, and seeing you so comfortable and stuff is great and affirming.
Mm-hmm.
But you asked me over text, like, do you Discord? A very simple yes or no question. And I'm like, technically, yes, but I don't use it for Discord purposes because that's how that's my hub for, when I express my female part, I put that in. So it was weirdly gender affirming having to decide how I wanted to handle that, saying like, okay, I would automatically say no if it was anybody else but you. But like, do I want to include you in that? Do I want to let that be known? Do I want to I mainly use it for the servers and organizing writing. So like, do I want to try video gamage using it? So that was really affirming because it was like, hey, this is a thing that I never thought I would share with any other human that I've been doing for 25 years. It's cool to say, well, I can share it with this person, I can share this as part of me and someone will not judge me and kind of understand. So that's joyful.
And here you are sharing it before a worldwide audience.
Exactly.
Not a big one, but I get the analytics.
There's got to be at least one cat
countries.
watching. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. We got, a lot of UK listeners, actually.
Oh, I wonder if
I wonder how many want to murder us.
Yeah. Australia, recently Germany, which was cool. Yeah.
Lithuania?
Guten Tag.
Yeah. Not yet, but I'm really hoping for Lithuania.
Okay, cool.
We love our Lithuanian listeners to be.
Yeah, it is definitely like joyful and euphoric when you feel comfortable sharing like a vulnerable part of yourself with someone and you feel safe. And that is trans joy. Should I also share a listener one?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So we got one from Blakey. Let me just open up some of these replies. All right.
Is that on TikTok?
Yeah, Blakey from TikTok. And she wrote, my grandma crossed off my dead name from her calendar and wrote my new name on my birthday. She's 84. She also changed my name in her phone. So, Blakey, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
A+, Blakey.
Yeah. Way to go, Blakey.
Yeah, Blakey uses she, they pronouns. So,
Blakey, you should open your own pie store and call it Blakey's Flakies.
That's cute. That's real cute.
Yeah. If you are a listener out there and you have a moment of joy, we really like to hear them. So jump in depends on where you're consuming the podcast, but YouTube comments, TikTok, Instagram comments, or get on the Discord. Which is, we're making a lot of new trans besties in there, which has been really fun. But there's a place for you to share those too. And we'd love to hear them.
I also love to see the screen names people choose. Like trans people have the best screen names. So creative and so funny.
Yeah.
So I just really join the Discord so I can see how creative you are. And even if you're not, I still want to see you.
My Discord name is egg themed, but this was not based on being trans in any way. That was a weird coincidence. Before I was even familiar with the egg terminology.
I thought that was trans related. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's actually from Doctor Who.
Oh, I knew that too.
Yeah.
I knew it was
just
Doctor
a weird
Who.
Coincidence.
But I thought it was like Doctor Who trans crossover.
Yeah, but I didn't even think about it until I saw our friend Sarah from TransSafe podcast.
Yeah. Because
hers
is
name
egg
is
themed.
also egg themed. Yeah.
Mine's just
wait a second.
Mine's just a boring, weird version of my name. It's not creative.
No, it's fun.
But I love when other people are creative. So
yeah, exactly.
I've never had a creative thought. Everything I do is very serious. No laughing during this podcast. Is serious discussion filmography of.
It's a discussion.
I am a
series.
movieologist.
Moviologist.
Lapsed. I do not work in the movieology business anymore, or really ever. But
you pull up your mic like an inch.
You're an inch.
Wow. Not the insult that you think it is.
Robin the Angry Inch.
Is that better, Robin?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Anyways, I'm a social worker now, so I don't think about movies.
Never
in your life. No brain cells for movies.
No.
What's the last movie that you watched?
Oof. Maybe it was Civil War.
Okay.
Doesn't Disclosure count as a movie?
Yeah, we did watch.
Maybe Disclosure, the movie we watched. Maybe that was
like documentaries.
That wasn't a segue, but...
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's what you were putting down.
I don't know what I was putting down. We actually, Ben has seen the movie too, but last night Dan and I were watching the movie Disclosure, which is on Netflix.
It was very different than the last time I visited you guys, and I watched My Dinner with Andre, which was also affirming of gender. Very really stuffy, uptight white guys. The best gender, according to morons.
But yeah, we watched the movie Disclosure, which is really cool. First of all, I like to always bring up the fact that it was made by fully staffed by trans people, like from talking heads down to like the craft services people, like 100% like trans cast and crew.
Probably some delicious snacks.
Really good trans snacks, yeah. But anyway, the documentary Disclosure on Netflix, it's basically they're interviewing a lot of trans people and like going back through their memories kind of the trans representation that they saw in movies and TV growing up, and like how we've been represented through media through the past. And I feel like for all of us, but definitely for me, it brought up a lot of memories of like being represented as a child in movies, and just like even if I was like in the closet or whatever at the time, like just really feeling uncomfortable, feeling like just usually negatively portrayed. To be honest,
the villain.
Yep, like as serial killers or perverts or stuff like that.
Or both.
Oh, that's a good point.
Often both.
So I guess I should ask you guys, how many people have you killed because you're pervert murderers?
Does it count if you kill them in the bathroom?
No. I guess.
A lot. All of them. I've killed all of them.
Okay. That's why I never see people anymore. You have murdered all of them. Got it. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad we got it. Go on, Robin. We got that out of the way.
Dan, were there any like movies or TV shows that you were either reminded of watching the movie, or just ones that you already kind of had in mind that you remember seeing?
There's a few. Interestingly, I maybe not start with me because I have a... No. We'll start with, how about we have the Ace Ventura conversation now?
Let's get into Ace Ventura.
Let's get into him, because...
we both have the same Ace Ventura trauma, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's not really trauma, but it was sort of like, I really liked how they presented the movie about how the guy was a trans man, was discussing how that was his favorite movie as a kid. And he says, I'm having a bad day. I'm going to watch my favorite movie. And then he watches like, oh God, this is so transphobic. It wasn't until Disclosure that I realized that a lot of that was a parody, of the Crying Game.
Yeah.
But one thing that I had the same exact experience with him, not with the Ace Ventura, but when they went through and showed Naked Gun 33rd and a Half. I loved those movies as a kid. I completely forgot they did that stupid parody in that. Granted, that's by far the worst one.
They did the Crying Game parody?
Yeah. Like, they showed a quick clip of in the movie. Basically, they lower a woman's pants and there's a penis.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, and I'm sure a lot of those old movies all have that in there. Like, because it's just a short line to a joke.
Yeah, and like, particularly the Ace Ventura reference to anybody who hasn't seen it or hasn't seen it in a while, is, well, essentially the villain of the movie. I'm going to spoil it, and it's not
decades.
a spoilable movie because it's trash. My opinion, correct opinion. It's very both transphobic and homophobic through and through in a way that I felt very strongly as a kid, and I don't think everybody did, but I think anybody, like the one person in Disclosure who came back to it was like, oh my God, I can't believe this was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the villain of the movie was a trans woman who, like, essentially the big reveal at the end of the movie is the so-called hero of the movie, the detective, played by Jim Carey, like solves the crime or whatever, the mystery, by pulling down the pants or a skirt of the main villain in front of a room full of police officers. And like everybody at the same time, like starts throwing up on the ground in unison.
Like projectile.
Yes. And I didn't realize this until watching the movie because I hadn't seen The Crying Game. Definitely not as a child. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize this, but like, so that scene, it was a reference to the one scene from The Crying Game. And in Ace Ventura, they played the Crying Game theme song in that scene while everybody was throwing up. So it's like a direct reference.
Yeah.
And like,
doesn't make it better.
It's one of those anti-trans tropes that are in movies that I never knew existed because I only remembered it from that one thing. But just like the complete revulsion. And this was done a few times in this movie. Like it wasn't just the one scene, but like,
yeah.
There's the part where he first realizes that he had kissed a trans woman and is like trying desperately to get like
the germs
out of his mouth from the trans person, and it's
burning
just like
his clothes and
it's
stuff.
like a whole long montage and everything. Yeah, which is really upsetting.
Can I add a bit of levity to what my 10-year-old brain interpreted this as?
Please.
So I didn't think of trans. I thought, like, I didn't realize yesterday until we watched Disclosure where they said that the villain was tucking penis under. I had thought that the villain had surgically removed his penis and put it onto his butt. So when I was like tucking, it's like, oh, that makes more sense. So,
that makes a lot of sense.
That makes more sense. It's like,
that would make it a very different movie, I think.
Also, like, granted, I haven't seen many tucks in person, but that would have been a wild tuck. That
wasn't a good tuck.
Extra painful.
It was not
like,
a good
how
tuck.
hard are you pulling that thing back?
Yeah. I don't think they were following the proper procedures, but
no.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also, like, when I was watching Disclosure, it just kept making me think about how much this bleeds into real life, where like people have the gay and trans panic defense, and like it's movies like that help perpetuate that that's an okay defense, and it's not. It scares the shit out of me.
I mean, that's the source of so much anti-trans violence is like the like you said, the trans panic. Like, somebody's going to trick me. I'm accidentally going to like kiss a man or like whatever. A lot of times it is like that, where it's like there's a romantic scene and it's like I've defiled myself by like kissing a trans woman, but like, oh, I just kissed a gay man or something like that. You know,
you kissed a hot woman. Get over it.
Kissed a hot woman, yeah. And just like that gets into people's minds, whether subtly or not subtly, like it has become part of the culture.
It like gives them permission. In air quotes, if anyone's listening, not watching video.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's dumb.
And like, I guess slight segue, because we already knew I was going to bring this up, but like that follows the formula of Jerry Springer, where like all of the titles of episodes that were trans focused were like, my girlfriend's really a man, or my boyfriend's really a woman. And like, it's just them filming people having trans panic. And it grosses me out the way that they would force these people who were probably scared out of their mind for their significant other to find this out about them. And like, they're making money off of it and encouraging them to act bigger and bigger because they want better ratings. And like, I don't even know if these people got paid. If they got paid, it wasn't enough. And they were probably desperate for money if they were, and like forced them into a situation they probably never would have put themselves in willingly, and especially not in that type of energy.
Like, what's the worst possible way to out somebody? Now let's force it to happen on national television.
And that was what I was raised on. That was family TV when I was growing up. We weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons in my house, but my dad loved, from when I was 3 years old, for us to all watch Jerry Springer together in the evenings. And it just sucks.
I mean, he's off the air, but that stuff like that still continues to this day.
He's dead.
He's dead. It's a hey no here.
Yeah.
But like that, his bouncer didn't have his own show. Yeah, Steve that just yells at people. One of my clients, I'll walk in, they're watching that. It's like, you're just a mean man yelling at people. And I've seen the trans stuff on there too. It's, but what? It's past 2010 and we're still doing this, you know?
Did you, Ben, did you have feelings about that, like when you were a kid watching it, or is it more of coming back to it as an adult?
When I was a kid, I was very interested in those episodes and I was very curious about it. I was not disgusted.
Yeah.
I was just like very intrigued, and like I didn't really understand what was going on, especially when I was 3. But like my dad would make comments about it, and I'm very glad that I may have been like brainwashed and indoctrinated by him to a certain degree, but when it came to LGBTQ rights, I always had a pretty strong like core disagreement and had like very strong inclusion values, and yet there were no signs that I was queer whatsoever.
Yeah. It was interesting because they brought up Jerry Springer in Disclosure. And the first thing I remember, the trans people that they were talking to about it in the movie was them saying like, this bad representation, of course. But they were also like, that's the first time I like saw a trans person represented. And like, which is a bad way for it to start out, obviously. But I remember like when I was a kid, never, of course, like it was like the 80s and 90s. I never knew any trans people. And I don't remember seeing any trans people on TV until like much later into my childhood, at least. Is never like a good portrayal, you know?
It was either like a villain or it was sensationalized. And no matter what, it was framed in a way that was intending for you to feel uncomfortable or disgusted.
I mean, even Simpsons did that too.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody did it.
Yeah. I did want to point out one interesting one, though.
Yeah.
From Disclosure, they were doing a montage of cis actors in 80s to 90s TV shows playing trans characters. And one of those was David Duchovny from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I have, because of another podcast I listened to, I've watched all of Twin Peaks and heard them discuss it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see that because it's somehow lodged in the middle. Like when it comes to the main character, who's the most, is Agent Cooper, who's the most open-minded person. He's accepting immediately. He's using pronouns. He's asking about it and being genuinely caring. And Denise, the woman, talks about how she was undercover and had to wear women's clothes and then discovered this is who she was. And like he's super open to that. But like there's still, even with that good representation, there's still like jokes around it saying, oh, it's a man. They're going to be surprised that it's a woman instead of a man, you know? So like there is almost like, yeah, you can have a good trans character, but you also still have to pay the piper in these weird jokes to make sure we know that we're all not gay.
It does make me wonder, though, like how much of that was the pressure of the culture of the time to include those kinds of jokes, and how much of that was David Lynch.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
because he was pushing a lot of boundaries, and this was on like broadcast TV too, which is insane to think about.
And there's a lot of crazy boundary pushing stuff on Twin Peaks in general.
Yeah.
But there are also laws at the time that if you're going to include queer characters, maybe not at that time, but like not long before, that if you're going to include queer characters, you could not portray them in a positive light. Like for a while, that was
that was true.
Actual
and in
standards.
the end, Denise is portrayed very positively. It's interesting when he made the third season in 2017. Denise does come back for a cameo appearance in which she's the chief of staff of the FBI. And it's interesting, like they don't make a big deal out of the fact that David Duchovny is here in a dress. It's just, we don't make those jokes and stuff. Like he does, the character Gordon Cole does bring up about how the past, how she used to be, when she was a man, she used to be like kind of wild and pushed some limits with the FBI, but it wasn't like dead naming or anything else, you know?
And it also, like, someone of that age probably would say that in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But does that necessarily mean they should have permission to put that on a show?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're generally docile.
Yeah.
Like, I like Twin Peaks, but should I? I don't know how I feel.
Yeah. Because it's easy when it's Ace Ventura and it's nightmarishly horrible, but when we get into stuff like that, where we get into Twin Peaks, where some people have been affirmed by that, you know, some people are very grossed out and can't watch the show because of that. So, you know, it's as we said last time, it's everything is different. Everything is unique.
Yeah. I always had like complicated feelings about it. Yeah.
So I guess that'll bring me to my question I already told you to about when we weren't recording. But so like in Orange is the New Black, they show Laverne Cox's character pre-transition, but it's not Laverne Cox. It's her identical twin brother, who's also an artsy type, does like fashion and dance. But like if there is a role where they need to show like a trans person pre and post transition, would it be better to cast a cis person and have them like go opposite gender for the post transition stuff in order to protect like the dysphoria of a trans actor? Or is it better to cast a trans character and ask them to potentially deal with that kind of dysphoria to play the before? Because like not everyone's having an identical twin.
I feel like it's up to the comfort level of that actor.
Yeah.
And like we're not at a point in trans representation where well, okay, there are a lot of trans actors out there, but we're still at a point where a lot of these trans actors aren't getting work, or they're getting work as like murder victims or sex workers or whatever else in acting roles. But I feel like a lot of like actors who do get a lot of work have, you know, contracts that say like, this is what I'm comfortable with doing, this is what I'm not comfortable with doing. When it comes to like trans people who are actors, there's been a lot more of kind of like taking what work you can get sort of attitude.
Which sucks.
And yeah, but I feel like at this point, like a Laverne Cox could just say like, hey, I'm not going to play like a cis man or whatever.
Even if that cis man becomes trans.
Right. But because like I'm saying, that's like their personal comfort level. But I don't know if we're quite at the point where we're getting enough representation at all for people to even be giving trans actors room to ask those kinds of questions.
I have an interesting example to bring up.
Okay.
A movie I completely forgot I saw, but it was a great movie. Have either of you heard of The People's Joker?
No.
It's made by a trans woman and basically takes Batman characters and basically transes up for the trans experience. And through the first half an hour or so, she plays the male version of herself before she becomes the Harlequin. And I immediately thought of that when you were talking about that, because she directed and wrote the movie, and it was her choice to do so. And it was like, but I'm sure it was also hard for her to do that. Granted, it's a wacky comedy film, but still, it's a very personal film. I recommend you see it if you can. It's very weird, but it's fun. that like she's expressing her story, and I'm sure it was a hard part choosing to express that part of her that was male at the time. And going back to Robin's point about where we're at with representation, I also thought of, the idea of putting characters into fat suits. I mean, that's becoming unacceptable these days. Like Brendan Fraser, that I don't like Aronofsky movies that much, but Brendan Fraser put on that fat suit for
The walrus.
or the whale. Yeah.
I thought walrus because they're a walrus stuffed animal, I think. I haven't seen it.
Was he wearing a suit? I thought he had gained weight.
He has weight. He's gained weight. I've seen him in other shows in which he has additional weight. But he didn't gain that much weight. We're talking 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's all about dealing with being 600 pounds. So it's sort of like, well, this is a 600-pound person's experience, but we're going to put a fat suit on you. And that's pretty common in other shows too. I remember a Netflix show that had that controversy that, it's about a character who lost weight, and instead of having a fat person play her while she was fat, she just put on a fat suit, and I could see it both ways, being a fat person myself, but it's like, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to make it a point? Or are you doing it because for laughs? It's like
Shallow Hal.
Yeah. Yeah, Shallow Hal. Oh. We also got the Nutty Professor movies, which that's a landmine for both fatness and transphobia, because he played so many stereotypes of men and women and everybody else. So.
God, it's been so long since I've seen those. I almost forgot they existed.
I forgot they existed until I said these words, and now I regret my words.
But I think the People's Joker is one of the only situations where I'd even feel comfortable seeing that, knowing that the director chose that. Because if I were to see...
Don't quote me, but I believe she wrote and directed it. So,
if I were to see a trans person who was put in a role that it wasn't something they wrote, produced, directed, I would be worried that they were coerced.
Exactly.
And that would just make me uncomfortable to watch it in the first place, I think.
Yeah, and it takes bravery then to be able to do that. You want to be confident. I want to get across these points and all these weird Batman jokes. So I am going to choose to embrace the male part, to tell my story, because it seems autobiographical, like the whole thing about her discovering who she is, and she eventually gets involved with a trans man who's kind of toxic and abusive and stuff like that. And it feels personal, and that's great. That's the kind of stories we need. We need someone to come out and say, I made these choices. That's where representation is. And that's what the core of representation should be. The people who are it should be the ones to represent, because they know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. They know the nuance. And then you were talking about trans actors usually being cast as sex workers, which makes me think about Pose, where I feel like that's actually a good example, because in the time period that they're showing, and even still today to a pretty large extent, that's the real type of work that some trans people can get. And it's showing this was reality in New York City in this time.
Yeah, that's the difference with Pose, though, is they're very clear about what the reasons are for the trans women in that show.
And they're stars.
Yeah. And it's it's not like on an episode of CSI or whatever, where you just see here's a dead person who's trans, and that's the whole backstory.
And then they get to talk, they get to make the jokes about, is she, or...
Yeah. And in Pose, you get the whole backstory, the motives, why those people are in that situation. And I think that is a really good and important representation, because we're able to see the rest of the story behind this way that trans women have been represented in media so many times. They're portraying the same people, but they're giving the reason for why that was and is a common thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pose is a very interesting example, because I told you this yesterday, Robin, but you asked me, have you seen Pose? And I said, I've seen the first season, and usually that's because people drop off. But the reason why I've only seen the first season is because it was supposed to be a mini-series, and then they expanded more series. And I was surprised at the end of season 1, it just ends with them all happy. They're all having dinner, laughing, having a good time. Has even fences with the enemy and they're all just happy. And I know the time period and I know how these stories go. It's like, I don't want to see the collapse of them, being attacked by society and everything else. It's like, you rarely get to see so many people happy. And I even tried season 2. And it was very much working into Bianca's sort of like all about, voguing, everyone's going to accept us now. And then we got to the episode where I forget someone had to store like a body of a corpse in their walls.
Yeah, that's based on a real story.
Which is a real
Dorian
story,
Corey.
100%. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna be a coward and go back to when all these people were happy, because that's unfortunately the big part of the story. And hopefully, at some point, trans people are treated well enough that the stories can be happy, and you don't have the obvious expectation for everything to go awry and murder and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a common thing, even when the representation is done well in a movie, for it to still be like all about trans tragedy.
Yeah.
Like, even when they get it perfect, it's still so often like the tragic story about all the bad things that happen to us. And there aren't that many hopeful representation, which I think is something that gets into our heads for sure, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just like, when you think about coming out like the person on the TV show did, that thought is like very present in your mind when you think about that. Like, oh, all the TV shows I've seen, when somebody comes out, like they get murdered or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, so many of us have a lot of hard stuff in our lives that we can't escape from. And it would be really nice if the media that we watch could represent us, but be an escape from things that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your guys' idea on something you probably haven't seen. Has anyone seen season 4 of Supergirl?
No.
I have not seen any.
I don't watch a lot of superhero stuff.
So Nicole Maines, are you familiar with her? Yeah. She's a trans actress, and she was the first transgender superhero for that storyline in that season of...
Yeah, I read her book, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was her book or written about her.
It was her book, because that's one of the reasons why I felt comfortable coming out to you. You gave me your Goodreads, and I saw that's one of the books you read, and I knew that character of her from this show, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's not going to be like completely out of the blue. I didn't realize that you're also looking for yourself.
Yeah.
Especially considering the context where you met. I can't blame you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So the character is named Dreamer, and it's not that it's not full of tragedy. It's a different kind of tragedy that's much more realistic and is also affirming. So basically, this character is the Dreamer is a prophet, prophecy power that's passed down from mothers to daughters. And so the character has transitioned from male to female and has an older sister. And everyone assumed, there's a boy born and a girl born, that the older sister would get the power because she's the daughter. And then it turns out that no, the trans character gets the power because she is her daughter. And even the mother dies, and like the last thing she says to her is like, I always knew you would be my daughter. And then she gets the powers. And the sister, who was super supportive of the trans person, first reaction is like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. You're not a woman. You're not the daughter. And despite how encouraging she was up to that point, and it's sort of like, when it becomes personal investment, suddenly you lash out. And it was also interesting seeing discussion about that, because a lot of people shared that. It's like, okay, I'm okay with trans people, but that doesn't make any sense. It's genetics. So like, still genetically male chromosomes. So how could she be the daughter and get the powers? Because, she's not. It's like, yeah, you're proving the point and the reason why they did that.
Who tested her chromosomes?
Yeah, exactly. Who tested her chromosomes, and what does it matter? It's not, if you think a trans person is who they say they are, it doesn't matter the chromosomes and stuff like that. And it was really pushing. And it was also interesting for me. It's like, it's so unbelievable that the person who started as male and became female got the powers. and we're not really questioning magical alien powers in which you can predict the future passed from daughter to daughter. Like, that part's okay. That part I can understand. But it's gotta be genetic.
Of course.
You just reminded me of me every time I watch like something marine biology, but cartoon.
Yep.
And my friends will be like, so you're not mad that the fish are talking, but you're mad that the fish is changing salinity so fast? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I am.
I accept the crazy thing, but not this very specific thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say before about like, we were talking about how trans tragedy is often the like only thing representing us. And I was thinking about Schitt's Creek, which isn't trans representation, but for sure queer representation. And like there was a lot of feedback about that show, about how the main character, what's the name of the actor?
Dan Levy?
Dan Levy, yeah. So Dan Levy plays a pansexual character in the show. And like there was a lot of audience feedback about like there is absolutely zero homophobia or queerphobia of any kind in this show. Like that doesn't feel realistic. Why did you choose to do that? And Dan Levy specifically said he was like, because we're always represented through the lens of like being hated by people or going through the struggle. He's like, I just wanted to put something in the world where it was just positive things happening to a queer person. And like, even without him saying that and thinking of it like through that perspective, like it really was on a subtle level as a queer person, like kind of heartwarming watching that and never seeing that happen.
Yeah.
Because it is in the back of your mind, like as an expectation.
When's that shoe gonna drop?
Exactly. It's like I'm sure I'm not the only one, but anytime I am watching a movie and somebody's like driving a car, but they're looking around and talking and stuff, I'm like, when's the car crash happen?
Yes.
Because like that's where my brain goes. So it's
or like someone's talking on the phone about to cross the street. Okay, where's the bus?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like that's what my brain does with like queer tragedy too. Like I was watching that show for a while just assuming that something homophobic was going to happen and it didn't. And then when I heard that interview with Dan Levy, I was like, that's an intentional choice. And like,
and I love that.
It feels nice.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's sometimes the best representation. If you're not telling the story, just have them there. Like one of my favorite shows, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, in the last season, there's just a queer character there. He has long hair and he speaks in such a way, but it's never explained. He has he/him pronouns and that's it, and is fluid, and that's just the character. We don't have a storyline about it. We don't explain it. That's just who that character is.
And then the people who don't understand queerness or transness, like then they have an example of like, guess what? Queer people can be just normal people, and they don't need to be under a magnifying glass to be included.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, and they kind of did that. They did that in Schitt's Creek too, in that so for the first couple of seasons, they were representing this queer person without giving any labels or titles or anything to him. Like all you know is that he has been romantically interested in women, but also romantically interested in men. And he has kind of like queer vibes, really into fashion. It's like, but it's never defined at all, which I'm sure was an intentional choice.
Yeah.
But then like a few seasons in, like finally one of the characters directly asks him, like, just tell me already, are you like into men or women, basically? But it's like they were shopping.
Red wine.
That's what it was, yeah. They were like shopping for wine. And she's like, so are you more interested in red wine or white wine? Because most men I know are interested in red wine, but I know some who are interested in white wine. And then, like, eventually he's just like, look, I just like wine. It doesn't matter what the label says. I just like wine. And that was like all they did for like defining his sexuality is he's just like, I just like wine if it's good wine, basically. And I thought that was also kind of probably an intentional choice to like get away from having to like explain and label every queer character in TV.
And I also love that in that answer, he was kind of pushing against binary choices.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
no, I just like wine. Doesn't have to be red or white. I just like good wine.
He's like, I've liked rosés. I liked a red wine who turned out to be a white wine later, something like that. I forget his phrasing, but
I haven't watched the show, but I have seen that clip.
It's good. It's fun.
Also, really weird tangent no one ever asked for. One of the major yarn brands might have been like Red Heart or Lion Brand, but they did a Schitt's Creek collab where they had like a pink called Moira Rose and stuff.
Nice.
So
I'm pro yarn.
I'm pro yarn too.
Yay. Get yarn all day about it.
Yeah, I'll spin you a yarn about yarn.
Mm-hmm.
Yarn-tastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all know we're here for just the tangents anyway. So.
That's true.
I do want to ask you, Robin.
Yeah.
Because I noticed it's because I can stalk you online.
Yeah.
You played Last of Us Part 2. Your thoughts on the trans representation in there?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah?
I really do. And
because it was very controversial at the time.
It was very much a trans tragedy story, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very much.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it. It was just done so incredibly well from my perspective, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it spoils anything to talk about that character, does it?
Spoilers for Last of Us Part 2 or Season 2 as the show comes out.
Sure.
But, like, yeah.
I'm not going to give away any plot details, but essentially, like, there's, like, a kid who is a trans boy, I think.
Yeah, trans boy.
Yeah. And there's somebody who was kind of excluded from the different couple of factions that were existing at the time in Seattle, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And basically just like this person is like in the game for a good portion of it, and they don't necessarily directly ever say like this kid is trans and we're being persecuted from that or whatever, but like the faction that they grew up in was a very conservative, like kind of a analog to like a super fundamentalist church community or that kind of thing. And like it's basically like implied that they were like kicked out, they were outed or came out and like had to leave their community and their family and become an outsider and like kind of be on the run from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but there was a character, was it his sister or just a friend? I forget.
I think it was his sis. I forget who exactly it was.
But anyway, that person also lost the community because they were like, I'm going to be this person's ally. They need support. I care for them. I don't know like where things are going to go for this person. And it's going to be a hard life. But like she just straight up left and like followed this person around so she could like protect them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought the way that they portrayed that character, like it just felt really right.
Very glad I asked that question. There's a different perspective at the time because you played it a few years after it came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't.
I played it pretty late. Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't with the hype cycle. Well, what happened there? Should I do the big spoiler? What happened there was what happened. The big spoiler.
If you don't want it to be spoiled, audience, skip ahead like what 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it was Love's sister. I googled it.
Ooh,
Lev. Yeah, Lev is.
Lev is
I love Lev.
But basically, a new character named Abby kills Joel within near the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
and then for half the game you play as her.
Yes.
Now. That was released beforehand along with the Lev stuff, but it was initially reported that Abby was trans. So people still assume that to this day. And I had that in my mind when I was playing it.
Abby wasn't the trans character.
I think she may be.
May still be trans.
I think she's trans, but like I personally feel that way. But like it's not, they don't make a deal out of it. It's just if she's trans or not trans, it doesn't matter. She's a woman. And everyone treats her as such. And like she has a love affair with that one guy. You know, I feel like even if she's trans or not trans, I like that representation in that she could be, she could not be. That's that's the problem.
She is a complex character too.
Yeah, she
like
is a
she's not
complex
just
character.
the villain, but
But
Yeah.
what's in her pants is not our business.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, exactly. Why are we trying to define her?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's cool that it's possible because like we don't really know what's in any of their pants. It's not a graphic
Any
game.
character could be.
Literally nothing is in their pants. It's a video game.
And I think that's the ultimate representation people want, where it just doesn't matter. Like if I were to write a story and stuff, it's unless I'm telling the specific trans story, it's just like they're a person. Just have them there. They're just doing their thing. Yeah.
Before anyone comes at me in the comments and probably just heard me say I haven't watched it in a while, I know that the show isn't out yet, but I've watched people play The Last of Us 2 and I haven't played it. That's why I said watched and not played. Don't
clarification.
Don't at me.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, the person they have playing Abby in the show is a cis woman who's one of my favorite actresses. So like who knows how they go with it, but
was Abby Laura Bailey? Which one was Laura?
I think in the game she was played by Laura Bailey.
Yeah.
In the show she's played by actress I love but can never pronounce her name. So Caitlin Dever, I believe. So there's also controversy though before the game came out that of accusations that they were using that Lev in the trans story as a way of exploiting trauma of trans people, and some trans people took offense to that. Namely, at the end when you're going through the village with Lev, they all use his dead name and his. His goal was to see his mom, and his mom. They find his mom, and his mom rejects him as him. Calls out for villagers to get them, and says, to fix him, and calls in dead names and stuff. And a lot of people say that was traumatizing, but I agreed with you. I personally love that game. I know most people prefer the first one, but I think it says a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Matt. It's his favorite game.
Yeah.
It's Matt's favorite game.
Oh, cool.
Matt is the one who talked me into finally playing it because I had put it off so many times.
Yeah.
And he was straight up like, he's like, that's the first time I've ever cried playing a video game or something like that. It's like, all right, sold. I'll go play the game. But yeah, no, that's another example of like, it depends on the perspective of the actual trans person involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for me, and maybe it's because it was like a video game and not like it wasn't like a movie with a trans person on the screen in the flesh, but like the part with the dead naming and everything, like I really felt that though.
Yeah, I felt like it was fitting for that.
Especially because they did it in a way that I don't think they ever used like the word trans or anything like that in the game. They were just like, this is a boy existing.
Yeah.
And like, regular boy going about life. You're like some kind of backstory. We don't know what. And then you go to this part of the game and it's like this kid like being dead named and calling a different thing. And you like piece it together by the way that they're telling it. And it's like, even though I can definitely see that being triggering for people, I thought, especially if you're like a cis person or playing the game or watching it, I feel like they did a good job of making it so you actually like feel that person's experience.
Exactly. And it plays into like, and it's not just that as the purpose, it's playing into the themes of that particular story. I mean, during the dead naming part, you're literally on his home island and it's falling apart because the two factions are literally in the process of murdering each other. Everything's burning down. Everyone's shooting everybody. And I love how that sequence ends with you're on a boat, just pulling away, just watching everything burn down. And I think there's a lot to say about that.
Very symbolic.
Yeah, symbolic.
It says a lot about chosen family too.
It does.
Like he got excommunicated and like death threats from his own home that he grew up in and his family and everybody. But then like he had to leave and go on the run, but he found a chosen family who protected him. And like the other main characters in the game who aren't like the villains or whatever, like never misgender or dead name or even reference him being trans whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just like, and
It's okay.
and like they're going through that part of the game where the dead naming and stuff happens, and they don't even discuss it. It's just like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And like you see the representation of that cis person who's an ally with a trans person, watching them be outed in this like really painful, traumatic way.
Yeah.
And then they're processing that, and their way of helping him is just not mentioning that, but continuing to support him and protect him and like be on his side.
Basically, like letting him know, like, they don't determine who you are.
Exactly.
And I still see you as the you that you've been to me this whole time.
Exactly.
And that doesn't change how I feel about you.
Exactly. Which felt nice.
I need to watch someone play that again.
Yeah.
Or just watch the cutscene the movie on YouTube.
Yeah.
I love when it's a cutscene movie.
I do really love that game.
Also, that great representation in Mass Effect Andromeda, where you talk to a lady and she just kind of, "Oh, I am trans," basically announce it. One of the very brilliant parts of a brilliant game. Sarcasm there, just in case no one knows. Do not play Mass Effect Andromeda.
I won't, but I also don't really play
nice
video
to meet
games.
you. I'm trans. To be fair, we do.
That's how we start every episode.
Yeah, exactly. Hey.
But I don't know. Stealth has never appealed to me, and the closet isn't a fun place. So I might as well just say it.
Sometimes there's presents in there, but they're usually old.
The re-gifts for the white elephant next year.
I mean, I'm scared of what representation will be like now that so many groups like the Moms for Liberty group, and we didn't even get into like the books and stuff that they're trying to get rid of. That's representation.
Yeah.
And they don't want it to even be around. They're calling it pornography when not even. Also, can I clarify with two other trans people?
Yeah.
Like, drag queens and trans people aren't the same thing.
Not necessarily. They can be.
They can be,
but
they're two
the
categories.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Venn diagram.
Yeah, it is. It is. But like, you can be a drag queen and not be trans, and you can be trans and not be a drag queen.
Yeah.
Because in fact, they're one's a performance art, the other is just who you are.
Yeah, one's who you are and one's a caricature.
Yeah.
And it's not even a caricature of who you are necessarily.
And like, we interviewed a friend of Ben's who is a trans man who is a drag king.
Coming out soon. We need to send him a copy of the thing.
Yeah. But yeah, they're not the same thing, but there's obviously overlaps.
And it can be like, it can inform a lot about yourself, where you could go into it not realizing you're trans and then like have a journey of self-discovery, but that's not necessarily.
Yeah. But like, that's what people do though, is they create villains. So they bunch these two things that are kind of related, but not necessarily related, because Drag Queen Story Hour doesn't have anything to do with transgender, even if a transgender person reading the story. It's about specifically people trying to reach their community through their particular art form.
Yeah. And even bigger thing, like being a drag queen has nothing whatsoever to do with sex.
Exactly.
But a lot of people see drag queens and they're like, sex, sex, sex. It's
same
a
with
sex
being
thing.
trans.
They can't disconnect. Yeah.
Heck, it's same with being gay or anything else.
Yeah.
Just because you're attracted to the same gender doesn't mean I'm constantly having sex.
I'm a trans man married to a cis man, and I have zero sex.
Yeah.
It's, so many of the trans people I know in real life are asexual or demisexual, or I know some trans people who are still like very like sexual people, you know, but I feel like I know more who are like definitely on the ace spectrum, at least.
Like, sometimes I think that a lot of that, they become LGBTQ people become easy targets because, one, smaller numbers, though they're growing now as acceptance grows. But two, also, you can't hide it. Like, when I was super Christian, I'd assume a couple, because we have to be pure and save ourselves for marriage. that a couple just wasn't having sex, because they could be living together or they could be holding hands, dating and kissing, but that doesn't mean they're having sex. But when you see a same-sex couple, you immediately think, oh, they're definitely having sex.
Mhm.
And none of it should have mattered to me because it's none of my business. But you can't hide it as much. You have to put yourself out there and stuff. And you gotta also realize that they'll come for you next. I mean, if they make trans people illegal or gay people illegal, they'll eventually get rid of all of their dreams like divorce, contraception, everything else. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's it'll snowball.
Yep. Anyways,
In some
happy
ways,
stuff.
Yeah. In some ways, we're a means to an end.
Yep.
We are the villain to them, but we're not necessarily the big bad as much as we are somebody that they can villainize to stir people up.
Scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, look at what happened last year with Target. I mean, Target was very pro LGBTQ for 10 years, but it's rainbow capitalism. Every queer person I've ever seen knew that it was a give and take.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting representation, but you're getting money.
Mm-hmm.
And since queer people are in your desired demographic, it's early summer, if you make June this thing and celebrate us, they'll buy more of your products. And literally the minute that the right wing got all pissy about something that they made up at Target and Satanism and everything else, the next year, which is this year, they took it all away.
Mm-hmm.
It's only in half the stores. It's much smaller in back because they're only doing it to exploit a certain group to get money, but that certain group was getting benefit from it. But as soon as it threatened their bottom line, so spare me if you're going to say, oh, it's all indoctrination or oh, it's being forced on us. You can't do that. You can't just obviously you hate it, so you're not being indoctrinated, so it's not working right.
The woke mind virus isn't real.
Exactly. It's also dehumanizes your enemy, which is the worst thing you could do to your enemy. Is they don't have opinions or experiences that came up from their own lives and lived experiences. They are just indoctrinated by the virus. And unfortunately, it also projection. Like people talk about projection, like telling on yourself, but really it's just that's how they think. They think that teaching, making sure we have the 10 commandments in school and having that kind of stuff is what saves the kids. So they think we're thinking in the same way when we're not. We just want people to be safe and to know that there are options. Mm-hmm. We don't care what options they choose as long as it's true to themselves.
Yep.
So, it's like your trap is you can't let those who you oppose, you don't think like them,
Yeah. I promise the listeners I'm not going to go to this well often, but I will say, I think it was last summer, I went to the Holocaust Museum for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really interesting experience as an out trans person in the specific era that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Just not even trying to make connections, but walking through, because have either of you been to the Holocaust Museum?
No, I never got to as a kid because it cost money.
Yeah.
And I want to, though.
It's a lot. You should go, but it's a lot. So go when your mental health is stable enough.
Not right now.
No. Relatively speaking. But it's set up chronologically to an extent at least. And you're kind of walking through the history of it happening, from no signs at all of
what's coming.
Yeah, it starts off kind of with the smallest little inklings of anti-Semitism and stuff. And as you walk through, you watch it develop and watch people spin it into a thing where they're using Jewish people as a scapegoat and as somebody to get the crowds riled up and to get people on their sides. They chose them to be the villain in their story. Mm-hmm. whether that was because of their personal prejudices or just because they needed to pick a group of people and they were a good group for them to pick to like make a villain for their story. But there were just so many echoes walking through that where like my experience going through the museum was almost like I was walking through and then I got to a certain point. I was like, and this part is where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep walking and then you see like the nearest stuff is like people that the most extreme people in society have been suggesting, or maybe something that's been said to me in the comments section on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep walking and you see it like slowly manifest into a reality of like, as this becomes normalized over time, it goes from just people feeling icky around your group of people to like the Night of Glass and then concentration camps. And you just like watch it almost like, you know, cooking a lobster, how like the water is slowly warming up and then by the end of it something's dying, you know. And I don't know like how I got on this random tangent. So if anybody wants to reel me back in, but
I think you're on this tangent because like we are literally in, I'm trying to figure out what stage. I think we're at stage 8 of 10. Or we're either at stage 7 or stage 8 of 10 of genocide.
Yeah.
And the media contributes to that. So I think that's why you got there.
And people don't understand what genocide is. It's not just murdering everyone. It's completely destroying and decimating a culture or idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you know,
it's like that propaganda of putting out false and derogatory information about a group of people. And I feel like a few of our episodes have come back to this topic just from different directions, you know, but there's people who are intentionally spreading anti-trans propaganda that like they're spreading ideas that have been disproven, but also that they know have been disproven. So like some people propagate information because they don't know that it's not true, but a lot of people do it on purpose because they know it's not true, but they know it'll rile up.
Yeah, exactly.
They know it'll rile up grandma, and grandma's not going to go do the research. Yeah. And like, even aside from that, there's the aspect of you say a thing enough times, and even if in the beginning, like everybody's like, that's obviously not true, you just hear it so many times that it's in your head and you have stereotypes, whether or not, you know, whether or not you ever believed it to begin with, it just becomes the culture.
Yeah, maybe that leads us into the negative representation, especially recently, of, you know, a lot of conservatives are making movies and documentaries. Or books about how trans people are the most evil. That's obviously edited and stuff. And I remember, you know, one of the most famous ones is, you know, What is a Woman? That stupid Matt Walsh thing. And, you know, I read LGBTQ Nation. And 3 months before that movie came out, a trans man, Eli, I forget what his last name was, said, hey, this Matt Walsh guy tried to trick me into being in this anti-trans documentary by pretending to be a real one. And so he could like pretty much manipulate what I said, heads up. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, we caught it. No one's going to fall for this tripe, basically.
Eli Ehrlich.
Yes, Eli Ehrlich. No one's going to fall for this. And then everyone fell for it because they wanted to. You know, it's obvious. It's a terrible documentary. Like, I've only seen bits and pieces, but it's one of those things that are tricking you to make you think like you're learning stuff, but it's more just belittling people that were giving you your time and explaining it and cheapening experts and stuff. And now they're trying to build whole cloth like studios out of it. I was just telling Robin yesterday, Ben, have you heard of Lady Ballers? Yeah. So, you know, I haven't watched the movie, of course, but
I haven't either.
Yeah, two of my favorite podcasts, Somewhere News and God Awful Movies, both did it and dissected it with, you know, trans people writing about it.
Do you want to explain what it is?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I should explain what it is. Lady Ballers is a piece of shit. Is that good enough information?
Yeah.
It's basically Ben Shapiro's company is run.
It's really all you need to say, but
yeah.
To be clear, I am not Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, yeah, different Ben, not all Bens,
And not Benjamin Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's the best Ben.
Yes.
Anyways, so there's this guy who runs his like entertainment version on the Daily Wire called Jeremy Boring, and he's a failed producer and he wants to make movies. So he made this movie called Lady Ballers, which is a transphobic piece of trash in which a dad who separated from his wife wants to connect with his kids and become a coach again, but no one will let him coach. What?
It's Mrs. Doubtfire about basketball, it sounds like.
Yeah, basically. And he basically creates a team of his old college, like his old high school team comes back, and they all dress as women, and they play basketball. And of course, all women suck at basketball because even a stupid man could be better than a woman in basketball. So it's highly sexist, too.
Yeah, to be clear, that was sarcasm.
Yeah, exactly. And like there's an evil liberal reporter who's using it to exploit and everything else, and it ends. Oh, it's also racist, by the way, because it ends with the team with a bunch of black men who are pretending to be women. And how can they beat that?
So now it's also like Bring It On, but bad.
Yes, it's terrible. Any human shouldn't think it's terrible. It's not well made. Like the Some More News piece about it is very interesting because it breaks down how on a basic film level it's just horribly crafted. But, that's not what it's for. It's not to be art. They think they've made up this myth that having a trans character in a thing is indoctrination. So their response is, oh, well, we'll make pure indoctrination. And there's no way you can like it unless you already believe this stupid stuff. And it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. So they're exploiting people's hatreds to make more money while also propagating that hatred with these subpar jokes, because the trick is being funny is hard. Making good movies is hard. Being a comedian is hard. And when it comes to trans humor, it's so easy to say, to punch down and say, this person's in a dress. And you can get easy laughs when actually being good is incredibly difficult. And some people just are horrible enough that they want the money and don't care who they hurt.
I'm glad I haven't seen it.
Do not see it. No human should see it. I only know a lot about it because people who saw it made fun of it and told me not to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so good. Positive.
Yep.
Wonderful. So quick plug for Lady Ballers.
I love Lady Ballers, but like actual WNBA.
Yeah.
More people should watch WNBA.
Yeah.
I don't really understand sports, but that's a hill I will proudly die on.
Oh, if you want this podcast to be 45 more minutes long and much more unhinged, you should hear my thoughts on female sports and how the basic idea that trans people entering female sports is sexist.
We need to do an episode on that. That it deserves its own day.
It does deserve its own day, because don't just assume, oh God, all the sports are designed for men's bodies and for male advantages. And you're there's the patriarchal, misogynistic thing that being strong and tall and fast are what strength and physicality is. And that's the only thing. And women are for children. No, the women are small, they're quick, they're agile, they're thinner, so they could do more cool stuff. I'd much rather see a bunch of cool flips than a big man tackle another big man for a stupid ball again.
Also, men's sports, incredibly gay.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Oh, so gay.
Yeah, they're all like running around the ground, sweaty, hitting each other.
Hitting each other in the ass.
Yeah. Just make out already. Wouldn't it be great at the Super Bowl in which it tied and it went into quadruple overtime and then they decided, well, no one won. Let's all make out. And then everyone did.
Now that's a football game I would watch.
Exactly.
We work hard and we play hard.
It's Madden DLC.
Let's do it. Let's develop this.
Anyways, we're shifting from crypto now into video game development where it's going to be gay football.
Yeah, but we will fund it with crypto.
Well, okay, great.
And
I'm still going to
microtransactions.
send you napkins with numbers on it. Just deal with it.
And
Usually they'll be clean napkins.
we run out of napkins. We can use cut up CVS receipts.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. I have to go to CVS more. Maybe I should get hemorrhoids to give me an excuse to get more CVS receipts. It just makes itself. This is a perfectly designed business.
Mhm.
Yep, we've got it.
Yeah, for sure. So you can all go to bratpod.com and get your very own BRATpod NFTs.
Okay. They're terrible, by the
very
way.
limited edition.
Badly
Yes.
drawn monkeys.
Not at all fungible.
You'll get a napkin in the mail.
If you think like, I really like this token, but is it really non-fungible? Like, we promise they're not fungible at all.
What if I draw fungi? Then are they fungible?
Then you have to
That's
be fired
so
from the company.
poetic.
I'm sorry, Ben. You are named Ben, but as Benjamin Robbins, I have to let you go. You're not Ben enough anymore.
All right,
Aw.
bye.
Okay.
I'm on my way out right now. I'm setting up.
Yeah.
I'll see myself out. So we're gonna finish out this episode with a giant cane coming in and pulling each of us out.
Yes,
Top
exactly.
But
hats.
Dan forgot to bring the cane.
Yes. Should I bring Michael Caine?
Michael
It
Caine.
might be difficult to get.
Oh no, he was. Michael Caine was in Disclosure. He played one of the trans kind of
You're
like
right.
murders.
Aw. But
Man,
oh.
they ruined Michael Caine.
But he's such a cute old man
He
in
is.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
And his wife is hot. No, wait, no, that's Michael Douglas. I was still thinking about Michael Douglas from earlier. I don't know what Michael Caine's wife looks like. Does he even have a wife?
Who knows? Maybe him and Michael Douglas make out all the time. Who knows?
Michael on Michael.
Yeah, exactly. I'd watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and
M&Ms.
Mike. Mike and Mike.
Should we conclude in an official
Have we
conclusion?
recorded long enough?
Oh, yeah. It was like an hour, 23 minutes. It's pretty good.
All right, well.
Any
join our-
other shows or anything we want to talk
Yeah.
about before, like that we didn't bring up? I hit all my points.
I'll think about stuff as soon as we turn off the camera.
Steven Universe, I just wanted to say I like it as queer representation. Not much to say. Like Stevani is, I think, the only, or no, there's like some like background characters that are definitely like not cis in the later parts of the show, but Stevani is not a boy, not a girl. They are an experience, and I think that's beautiful.
That's lovely.
I don't really have much else to say.
So plug for Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Dan, what would you like to plug?
I'm gonna plug play the Horizon games. They get made fun of, but they're good games. The Horizon
Do
Zero
they get
Dawn.
made fun of? They're great.
A lot of gamers call them boring and rote and stuff, but they
A
have
lot
good
of
queer
gamers call
characters.
me
The main
boring.
character is queer. She has there's a whole DLC about her lovely will they won't they romance with a lady. And also there's a non-binary character who is the best character in the games. Also, please subscribe to my Substack that doesn't exist about NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a blockchain is. I think the blockchain is that thing in Mario that you hit, and then the chain chomp comes out.
Oh, I think that's a thwomp.
I think that's a blockchain. I think the thwomp's the
probably
guy
a
that goes,
blockchain.
ugh. He's
You're
the big
right.
lazy fat guy that
That's
just
right.
Hey,
crushes
I'm right
people.
here.
Oh, Ben, Ben, you're rehired.
Showbiz.
No, I'm the small, lazy, fat guy. It's fine.
You are a king.
I am.
A king among short kings.
Thank you.
You're Larry King.
Oh.
No, he's said some problematic things about trans people, like in
Okay,
interviews.
you are not Larry King.
I mean,
oh man, does this mean that
I've said
I,
problematic
Benjamin
things, too.
Robbins, need to quit now?
No, it's fine.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging in for this journey, everybody.
I
the
wonder what
Discord.
the editing is going to be like on
Yeah.
this.
We've reached the end of our third act, but I have been Robin.
I have been Ben.
And who have you been?
Depends on the moment. I'm Dan, I guess.
Yay!
Benjamin Robbins is dead. Long live Benjamin Robbins.
May Benjamin Robbins rest.
And
rest in-
Benjamin Robbins wasn't trans either, so
Oh, yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah. Oh, gross.
I'm trans.
Cis people.
I've
Oof.
never said that before.
I'm very, very
Oh, yeah.
proud of you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Nice. Thanks for
Also, hi, Dad, if this is how you found out.
thanks for coming out at the very end of the second podcast we recorded together.
Exactly.
That we've only had trans people on.
Yeah.
You're so brave.
I am the bravest person alive, you know?
The bravest little toaster there is.
Yeah.
Oh, God, now I'm going to go cry.
Thanks. Thanks for stealing my brave little toaster reference.
Yeah. All right. Love you, brats. Bye.
Bye. We did it.
We did.
Did it.
We're the best podcasters there are.
We are.
Yeah.